Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healing with Simmer. I'm so grateful that you are here with me today. This is our very first video together, and I'm very excited to share something powerful with you today. Have you ever really paid attention to your breath? Just notice, how are you breathing right now? You might be thinking, why is she asking this question? Like, breathing happens naturally, right? Yes, we inhale and we exhale naturally, but have you ever checked whether you are breathing correctly or not? Do you start breathing from your chest when you are in the stress mode, or even when the situation isn't that stressful? Have you ever experienced tension or anxiety without any reason? If you have ever felt this, then you are in the right episode. In today's episode, I want to share something very simple yet truly life changing, a breathing technique called diaphragmatic breathing. It's a belly breathing, like a deep breathing through our belly. I'm going to show you how most people breathe and how we should be breathing, and why this one simple shift can improve both emotional and physical health. Now, let me share the truth behind this. The truth is, most of us breathe in a way that doesn't fully support our body and mind. Your breath affects everything. We know that. You know, your stress level, your hormones, your digestion, your immunity, and even your emotions. And the best part is, when you change how you breathe, everything else begin to shift with it. But before I explain anything related to this diaphragmatic breathing or deep breathing, let's just start with a quick test together. Because once you feel the difference in your own body, everything else will make more sense, right? Once you know, like, how are you breathing right now? And then it will be easy to understand the actual or the natural way of breathing. Okay? So let's do a simple test. Place one hand on your chest and other hand on your belly. Now take a slow deep breath in through your nose. Hold for a moment and breathe out gently. Let's do one more time. Inhale slowly. Pause. Exhale softly. Now notice which hand moved more. If your chest moved more, that means you are breathing shallow, not using your full lung capacity. This is how most people breathe without even realizing it. Chest breathing keeps the body stuck in fight and flight mode. It sends a message to the mind that something is really wrong, even when we are completely safe. Okay, so now that you have experienced your breath, let me explain what is actually happening. Most of us shift into the chest breathing because of stress, because of fast lifestyle or non-stop thinking. On the other hand, diaphragmatic or a belly breathing activates your rest and digest mode, right? That is the state of your body which is always longing for, kind of a calm state. And once you understand the simple shift, it can transform your mental health, it can transform your energy, your emotions, and even your sleep, much more than any complicated practice does. So before we practice, let me quickly explain what the diaphragm actually is. right? Because when I am talking about diaphragmatic breathing, the name came from a diaphragm. And your diaphragm is a dome shaped muscle, like it's a kind of a hump shaped muscle just underneath the lungs. And when you breathe in, it moves downward and create a space for your lung to expand. This is why your belly rise, right? And when you breathe out, it moves back up, helping to release the air. So when we talk about, belly breathing, we are really talking about training the diaphragm muscle to do its natural job. Okay? So this is the body's natural way of breathing. And when we breathe shallow from the chest, we hardly use this muscle. So over time, it becomes weaker. But using a belly breathing, we strengthen this muscle and it helps to circulate oxygen to each and every cell of the body. And that's where the healthy body lies, right? So now I think we understood like what actually is diaphragm and what is the way we are breathing. Now we have to practice together diaphragmatic breathing so that we can shift from the chest breathing to a deep breathing. Okay. So now let's learn the correct way of diaphragmatic breathing. Sit comfortably with your back straight. You can also lie down on your back if that feels more comfortable to you. And one thing which I wanted to say is when I say inhale through your nose, so allow your belly to rise. Okay. Think like a balloon. So you are inflating a balloon and it's rising. And when I say exhale, you just have to contract your belly. So it's a kind of a balloon which is releasing the air. Okay. So that's the kind of the movement you have to remember. So let's practice it. Place one hand on your chest, another hand on your belly. So these hands are just to help you notice that which part of the body is moving. Okay. So chest is going to stay the still. So that's why this hand is not going to move, but my belly is going to come up, out and in. Okay. Now take a slow deep breath in through your nose. Let your belly rise like a small balloon and your chest stays mostly still. Pause for a moment, then open your mouth and exhale slowly, letting your belly soften back down as if the balloon is gently deflating. So watch out for, this very common mistake. Most people reverse the belly movement while breathing. When they inhale, the belly should always expand, right? Just like a balloon filling with air. And when you exhale, your belly should contract as if the air is gently leaving the balloon. With a little mindful practice, your body will naturally relearn this correct pattern. But let's practice one more time so that everybody understands like which way the belly has to go, and so that it will be easy to practice this belly movement. Okay. Again, back to same position. One hand on chest and another on belly. And let's take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. And let your belly rise like a small balloon. See, your chest has to stay still, right? Pause for a moment. Then open your mouth and exhale slowly, letting your belly move back to the spine as if the balloon is gently deflating. If you can see my hand was out and in. Okay. Inhale means out, exhale means in. Okay. So you can practice this 4 counts inhale, 4 count pause, and 4 count exhale, and then gradually move to 4, 6, 8. Okay. So 8 means 8 count of exhale, because that will definitely relax your body and mind quickly. The other beautiful thing about this practice is that this is very safe practice and you can do it anytime, in the morning, before meditation, before sleep. before meal, or whenever your mind feels heavy, so you can practice it. Okay, so while we move into the next part of the episode, you can continue with these gentle breaths at your own pace, and let me, just share it with me in the comment box how you feel, how your body feel. But I will keep continue with the next part of the episode, which is the science facts, so that we can understand how and why this breathing technique is so important for our health. When I started researching this topic, I was honestly stunned. The benefit of diaphragmatic breathing are far too many to cover in one episode. So today, I'll focus on those ones that create the biggest shift in our daily life. If you want to explore more, I have added a link in the description box for you, and so that you can get more knowledge about this topic. But what I have noticed is that we have spent so much time looking for external solutions to heal our body and mind. Yet we often overlook what's already within us. We all know that we can live without food for days and without water for some time. But we cannot survive without oxygen for more than few minutes, right? And we also know that oxygen is the fuel for every cell, and it cleans our cell, it removes waste from our cells, and it basically supports our immunity and even help our cell to live longer. So now we know that everything in the body begins at the cellular level. Like our body is made up of billions of cells. Every imbalance, every disease, every healing, our health can only improve when our cells get the oxygen they need. When we only treat symptoms and don't address this deeper level, so our healing stays incomplete, right? So we are just, working on the surface level. So we are not going to the root. But diaphragmatic breathing makes sure that oxygen actually reaches to each and every part of the body, to each and every cell, allowing the body to recover, to rebalance, and function the way it was designed to. Now that you understand what this breath does at a cellular level, let's look at how these changes show up in everyday health, especially for common issues like diabetes, craving, lymphatic stagnation, and low mental focus, and then stress levels. So, because everybody is going through these issues every day. So, let's talk about how this breathing technique is beneficial for recovering for all these issues. Let's start with how diaphragmatic breathing can support people dealing with diabetes or blood sugar instability. We all know that diabetes happens when the body doesn't use insulin properly or doesn't produce enough of it. But what many people don't realize is how deeply stress impacts blood sugar. When you are stressed, your cortisol, which is the stress hormone, goes up. And high cortisol automatically pushes your blood sugar higher. So, this is why some people notice their sugar is rising even without eating anything, right? So, because stress alone can push blood sugar higher. And when you breathe with your diaphragm, your body shifts into a calmer state and cortisol begins to drop. And once cortisol lowers, your insulin becomes more effective. Your cells absorb sugar better, and your blood sugar naturally becomes, more stable. So, research on PubMed supports this. Study shows that diaphragm breathing actually lowers stress hormones. It improves insulin sensitivity and help reduce blood sugar level. So if you have diabetes or even any general digestion issues, You can begin very simple, take few slow diaphragmatic breathing practices, 10 to 12. You can start with that and see the difference. You can try before meal or after meal. As I mentioned, like, this is very safe practice. Do it gently and then you will see the difference. This will help your body digest food better, improves your insulin response, and keep your blood sugar more steady throughout the day. It is a small habit, but it creates a meaningful shift over time. Okay, so start practicing and see the results in your body. And if you want, you can share in the comment box. Another area which I wanted to share is where deep breathing makes a surprising impact is craving, especially emotional eating. Almost everyone experiences some form of a craving, whether it's sugar, whether it's chocolate or junk food, right? So we want to break the habit, but we often feel stuck in that cycle. You'll be surprised to know that diaphragmatic breathing can be a real life changer. It doesn't just help reduce emotional eating, it calms the stress that trigger those cravings in the first place. Deep belly breathing activates the vagus nerve. That is the longest nerve connecting your brain, your heart, your lung, and digestive system. So, this nerve is responsible for calming stress, supporting digestion, lowering heart rate, and switching your body into the rest and digest mode. So, when you breathe slowly and deeply, right, from your belly, your nervous system begins to settle. And when your nervous system is calm, your sugar craving naturally decreases, right? So here's something you can try. Next time when you feel craving for anything, like for chocolates, for junk food, for anything, just pause for a moment. Take a gentle, slow belly breathing exercises at that moment. And you will notice the craving becomes softer and sometimes it disappears. You can try it and see the difference. And then maybe once you find, like how it's helping you, just share it with everybody, and so that we can get benefit out of it. Okay. So another most powerful benefit of diaphragmatic breathing is how deeply it supports your body's inner defense system. Both your immune system and your lymphatic detox system. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your diaphragm moves up and down like a natural pump. Okay. So this simple motion creates pressure change inside your body that helps move lymph fluid for flushing out toxins and reducing inflammation and also carrying immune cells throughout your body. So you can see that the deep breathing not only helps you to detoxify, but it also helps your body to produce more immune cells that fight infections and help your body to heal, right? So these levels normally drop and when we are stressed or when we are sick, but diaphragmatic breathing helps to these levels to restore them. So I'm not going too deep into the scientific terminologies here, but research is very clear that better breathing or deep breathing leads to better detoxification and lower stress and more responsive immune system. Most of us, we tried so many complicated things to stay healthy, but we often forget the simplest one: using oxygen the right way. So let's do it now when we know that this is the right way to breathe. So let's practice it, make it our daily practice, and see the results. Beyond physical healing, diaphragmatic breathing creates a deep emotional and mental shift also. You may have noticed that most of us live in the constant stress, right? So we wake up stressed, We stay stressed throughout the day and go to sleep stressed. This keeps our cortisol, which is our stress hormone, chronically very high. And when cortisol stays high for too long, it affects almost everything: our craving, our sleep, our thyroid function, our immunity, our weight, mood, and even our hormones. But here's the good news: the moment you start breathing deeply through your diaphragm, your oxygen level rises up, your carbon dioxide level balances, and your cortisol begins to come down. And as cortisol lowers, your body starts producing more serotonin and endorphins. These are the natural chemicals for happiness and emotional steadiness. So you must have been heard about these ones so many times. So that's why I'm using these science terminologies here so that everybody understands, and these are the familiar words. At the same time, like when you're doing deep breathing, your brain receives more oxygen, which improves your mental focus, your emotional control, your decision making, and you begin to feel good from inside. This is why deep diaphragmatic breathing can shift your mood and your clarity even before you finish the practice. So, next time, whenever you feel overwhelmed or distracted, stressed, or emotionally heavy, one of the quickest and most natural way to reset your system and reconnect with a calm, focused mind is very simple. That's deep diaphragmatic breathing. Okay. I have used it in my life and have changed, I have seen a big change in my life. So that's why I'm sharing this with you so that you can also get the benefit out of it. Okay. So start practicing today and see the results. Last but not the least, another powerful benefit of diaphragmatic breathing is how naturally it prepares your mind for meditation. Many people say they can't meditate because their mind is too busy, too many thoughts, too much noise, too much restlessness. But the truth is, you don't start meditation with a quiet mind. You create a quiet mind through the breath. When you begin with diaphragmatic breathing, your brain automatically shifts from the busy, reactive beta state into the calmer alpha and theta states. And these are the brain states where meditation becomes, effortless. So most of us, we live in the beta all day. Like we keep ourselves in such a mode, like we are continuously thinking, planning, worrying, reacting. But when you breathe correctly, your nervous system softens, your brain waves slowly, calm down, and your inner noise finally settles. So your mind becomes steady enough to naturally slip into the meditation mode without even forcing or struggling or juggling, right? So if you ever felt like meditation doesn't work for you, try just a few minutes of diaphragmatic breathing before even sitting for meditation. Okay. So it can completely change your experience for sure, because I am doing this diaphragmatic breathing before my meditation, and it's working really great for me. Okay. So this was all about diaphragmatic breathing. This is the power of diaphragmatic breathing, whether you are healing from something, trying to prevent illness, managing stress, or simply wanting to feel healthier. This breath supports your body and mind on every level. So please practice diaphragmatic breathing, not just as a technique, but as a support system for your life. Okay. So it isn't magic, it's basic biology. But when you practice it regularly, the result can feel magical. So now that you understand how powerful the simple breath is, I want you to experience it for yourself. because real transformation doesn't happen when we, learn or hear. It happens when we practice, right? So your task for this week is, every day practice at least 10 to 12 cycles of this belly breathing, and it will take hardly 2 to 3 minutes. Okay? So practice it daily. After finishing, write down what you felt, any shift in your thoughts and how your body responded. Just 2 3 sentences. This helps you to, track your inner change. So, and if you feel comfortable, you can share your experience in the comments. Okay. And as you practice this small daily exercise, remember, each breath is a gentle step back to yourself. These tiny moments of awareness you create will start shaping the way you think, you feel, and move through your day. So, if you remember only one thing from today's practice, let it be this. Whenever your mind feels noisy, your breath is your first safe place. Thank you for breathing with me today. Until next time, eat well, move gently, sleep peacefully, and keep breathing with awareness. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and sending my love to you. Thank you. Have a great day.